Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our tea corner. It's always the opportunity for us to drink together a cup of tea, even if it's quite challenging with this very hot temperature, but we face the challenge. And as usual, we have this appointment every month with the opportunity to have a conversation on sustainability. And we have the pleasure to have with us Isabelle Lefort. She's responsible, she's the head behind the Paris Good Fashion. And we have the pleasure to have a conversation with her in a very important topic, is the role of the fashion in direction of sustainability and climate change in particular. So Isabel, the floor is yours for your first part of the presentation. Then we have opportunity to discuss together on the topic that you will present to us. Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and sorry to have to reschedule the meeting, the tea corner last week. I'm Isabelle. We created Paris Good Fashion 7 years ago. It was the city of Paris invite me to create a movement to really try to accelerate the change of the fashion industry. As you know, as in Milan or in Italy, is very important also in France. And so we began like this with the target to really work, not talk, but really to try to make real progress, concrete progress, and also to work all together, not only the person who are convinced of the need of change, but also the big companies where the movement is not, I would say, was not natural, but also some person who are very convinced, etc. So today, Paris Good Fashion unified more than 100 members. We have some very big group like Chanel, LVMH, Kering, but also in the mass market like Kiabi, Etam, and others. And we have some premium, some luxury, some big brands, some big names, some small names. You have some brand, some retailers, some schools, some institution, some startups, experts, etc. The idea is really to unify all the actors of the ecosystem and to share all together the good ideas, but also to work concretely to co-create concrete solution all together. So and one thing very important is the democratic aspect. One structure equal one vote. So LVMH equal a small company with 2%. So the idea is really to have this dialogue between all of us. So since we created in 7 years ago, we got more than we realized and co-create all together around 100 actions, concrete actions. It can be, as you know, Danielle, we work a lot on the decarbonization. And for example, we co-produced the ACT methodology for fashion with ADEME and with the support of Le Défi. And we also created after a trajectory to reduce the carbon impact of our industry that, as you know, is very important, one of the most important industry that has got impact in our world. And so we developed this trajectory in volume and in value by segment, because there's a lot of big difference between if you're working for the luxury, you have made in a number of references, but also a mix of raw material very different as if you compare with the mass market, for example. And so we developed this. We just finished to create also a methodology to harmonize the way of calculate the carbon bilan, the carbon, I don't know, as you say in English, carbon bilan, but
The inventory,
yes,
self-inventory.
Yes, thank you so much. Excuse me, I was a little bit lost. So the inventory, and but we worked also on the event, on the durability, on the the transport, etc., etc. So a lot of actions. Everything is in open source and free to access on our website, and we share more and more. And we will be very happy. I will be very happy to discuss with you on these different topics and to discuss on how we can reduce the impact of our fashion industry altogether. One thing important, last year, because we got this impact and these concrete actions and good results, some of our main members in Paris Good Fashion asked us to create a movement, an international movement. So we began to launch the Fashion Cities Coalition. We launched it officially last month in July with 8 other cities: Milano, New York, London, Singapore, Dubai, Copenhagen, Cotonou. And the idea is really to create a snowball effect by sharing best practices, and also each city will affirm its own singularity, but also will present a main topic that he will share with the other cities. So we presented our project and our main topic in July, and the 27th of October, it will be Camera della Moda in Milano that will present his own, we will organize his own group workshop, and that we will take the topic, and we'll work with his members on this. So, and after it will be Singapore in January, Dubai in March 2027. After it will be Copenhagen and New York, London, and Cotonou during all the year of 2027. So it's very interesting to get this international level, but with this really important topic. We are not here to talk. We are here to work and to get really concrete results. Because as you know, and as we can see with what happens this summer, particularly, we need to accelerate the change. So I will say it's really these ideas that I want to share with you, but I think it will be much more interesting to have a discussion if you want to have some questions and to discuss with everyone.
Thank you, Isabelle, for this initial input for our conversation. You underline one important point that we used to say fashion, but fashion is not only one thing, because there is a lot of complexity behind in terms of the dimension of the brand, but even the supply chain and all the implications that is connected with this point. And at the same time, you underline the need to work on the volume and on the value. So two important aspects. We had the pleasure to have a conversation with you, to know each other at the Padua Climate Action Week in April here in Padua. And for sure, we will have the opportunity to organize something even next year to continue this conversation. But before to ask you some more question from my side, I'd like to know if somebody from the participant has any kind of doubt, comment, or want to interact with Isabelle. It's always a very great opportunity, I think, to have a conversation with Isabelle. So I suggest not to lose this opportunity from your side. I taking some time. I don't see anybody open. Yes.
Alfredo, hi.
Uh,
Hi,
okay.
Isabelle.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm also working on, let's say, fashion and luxury market, and I have a question pertaining the transparency that those maison has in sharing data and sharing information through the network that you are leading and managing. So do you feel that there is a very deep transparency on the data and information that they share and that you collect and you merge together, or are you feeling that some maybe maison are a little bit less interested to bring their numbers?
Thank you so much for these important questions. Yes, of course. In France, because we are working all together since 7 years, so we know very much each other, and we are used to work together. So, for example, when we created the trajectory, we needed to have the facts and numbers from the company. Of course, we signed NDA. We had a consultant, and he served as a secret box, but we receive all the facts and numbers. And because a lot of companies are present in the stock market, as LVMH, Kering, etc., or have got some big pressure from their investor, as Chanel, for example, they are used and they're okay to share. We have really process we never work and saying this company is doing this. We are talking about the sector. So like this, it's okay. The sector of more and more by segment, the global sector and luxury, premium, and mass. And they are used to do it. So we don't have problem to access to the data. The problem is the nature of the data, because as you know, we've got a lot of problem on the data that are not so good, because there are a lack of precision and a lack of transparency on the way the database are built. So if you compare with counties, with what Higgs have done, or eco-invent, etc., there's a so big difference between the database. It's really a big problem on this. But to work together, really, and it's a particularity in France, they do it. We have got a lot of facts and figures, so we measure, we can compare, and we push more and more to do it. And also, so they're okay to share between the different segments, but also with a different actor. So you can have on the same table or in the same meeting, you can have some Chanel, LVMH, Kiabi, but also a school, after an institution or a supplier like Lectra. Everybody is used to work together. And we are here really to share with them and to ensure them that we will be very respectful of all the details, but also, of course, the law, to not respect. And we are working in for the segment and for the globality, but we never say this company has got a problem. But if a company is doing bad thing and can be bad for the Paris Good Fashion reputation, the notoriety, the board member can exclude the person, the company. So there is a lot of control, but it's a little bit different with other country, because we are really working all together, all the actors together, and we share facts and figures. Right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I saw Olasubomi Kafaru that raised the hand. I see, Olasubomi, that you have your camera on, even if we are not able to see you. So maybe you have some issue, but you can go with your question.
Okay, thank you.
No,
Okay,
don't
good
worry. Don't
evening.
worry.
Okay, hello Isabella. I work with an NGO called Lungo, whose goal is to accelerate the transition away from fossil fuel products, and that includes like the fashion industry. So we have a certification, yes, that basically evaluates how much fossil is in a product. And I just wanted to ask, like, do you see this certification like having a future like in helping sustainability in fashion, and like how do you measure your progress on like sustainable materials in fashion? That's my question.
Our impact in fashion, the impact of Paris Good Fashion, or the impact of the raw material, or sorry, I
No,
made a
like
mistake.
Yeah, no, it's like the certification that we're working on. It has like it's for every sector involving fashion and every sector. So I wanted to ask how you feel this certification will help maybe in the fashion industry, maybe to like increase
Okay.
sustainability. Yes.
Yes. As you know, for the certification and for the labels, there's a lot of non-valuable labels. So we have to take very care. And we just did a big citizen consultation in France, but also in three other countries, and particularly in Italy, US, and UK. And the consumer are telling that it's impossible to understand anything with so many labels that are not true, etc. So we have to take very care with the certification, and because they are based on the database that are not exact, so it's complicated. Our point of view is really to work with ACT methodology, with ADEM for the decarbonization, and we will work now in the next semester, we will begin our work on the biodiversity ACT methodology. You are familiar with ACT methodology or not?
If you speak with us, Equilibria, yes, because you know you are the
Okay.
Italian partner of ACT. So, but maybe you can spend some words because maybe not everybody is aware about it.
Okay, so ACT methodology is really a methodology developed by ADEM in France, but also with the support of, help me, Daniel, the big company,
CDP.
CDP, absolutely. So we got this scientific validation and all these members of who are participating that we know that the ACT methodology that is made to evaluate the credibility of the strategy of decarbonization and in the future, the credibility of the strategy of reducing the impact on biodiversity is really made by serious person, internationally recognized by scientific, etc. So we want to follow this methodology for the two big parts, decarbonization and biodiversity. Also, in the future, you will have the digital passport product that can really help to harmonize the different way of transparency and to give a true and proof to the consumer. So we will follow the digital passport product, and in France, the institution that is the most advanced on the topic is Fédération Haute Couture et de la Mode with Pascal Morand, and we will follow the position of FHCM on this topic. But for the over label and the over certification, we are very, very prudent because it's changing a lot, and we don't have all the control. Some are good. I don't want to say that all are bad, but there's a lack of information and transparency, as you said.
Yep. And you also mentioned one important point when you said that you work in the development of the methodology for the quantification, because to have a harmonization in sectoral rules is the fundamental aspects. We know that for the product we have the PCR product category rules, but even for the organizational level, there are the potential organizational sectoral rules that are fundamental in order to allow company of the same sector to approach with the same methodology, the same rules, because in particular with the scope 3, we know that indirect emission could be could give the possibility to have a different approach, more or less serious, no?
Yes, absolutely. And it's for this that to work with over cities at the level of local level internationally is very interesting, because they are really working on the field with the companies and with the NGO. And so we really think it's a good level to work concretely. For example, if you're looking what Camera della Moda is doing on durability, is very, very interesting. And it's a deep work. And we are very happy to share with them some work and some time to work together on this topic. So it's a good level, and it's a work in progress. We know that we all need to accelerate, but there's some good idea everywhere, and so it's good to really share and to be to recognize that it's a work in progress. Anyone has got the solution. We are working all, and we need to accelerate, but it's a work in progress.
You touch another very important point, because durability, is a fundamental topic, to extend the life, service life of a product is fundamental in all sector, but in particular in the issue in the fashion sector, where the obsolescence of the product is not in connection with the technical capability of the product, but with the change in the moda. I don't know how to say, the request and the fashion year by year, introducing new requirement on the market. Not new requirement, you pushing more in one direction to another direction. So it's for sure it's a very complex topic, I would say. And do you want to add something more on this point?
Yes, I think it's very interesting. When we made this citizen consultation, and the fact and number are important, and we have more than 170,000 persons who participated, 107,000 in France, but for example, in Italy, it's 32,000 participants, so very huge participation, and they're saying all the same topics. First, we don't understand. We don't understand what is sustainable fashion, because there's too much contradiction, too much certification, and we don't understand what is it. And the second topic is the durability and the necessity to have some to repair, but also to recycle, etc., etc. So it's very interesting to work on this topic, because and to change the mind of doing business. We have to change the business model. Just during the last 40, 50, 70 years, we were on the model of creating more and more products. And now we have to create not less and less, but to reduce the croissance, the way of producing, but to create product and services. For example, what the consumer are saying is they want to enter in a shop to buy, of course, to buy nice product and good product that are with quality. Quality means also durability. It can be a very nice product in silk, but we have to really study the durability of this silk product, and depending on the use that you will have with this product. But also they want to rent, they want to resell, and they want to repair. So it's a new way. It's really the circular business model that the consumer are asking, and the company, they all are working on this topic. The problem is to find a good balance. So the balance between rentability, performance, and durability and sustainability. But in the same time, and we can see today with what's happened this summer in all around the world with this incredible extreme weather, we have to accelerate, because we don't have the choice, really. So, and the company knows perfectly, because they have the pressure of the insurance, they have the pressure of the investor, and of course of the consumer also. So we hope they will begin to change.
Yes. Anybody else want to ask something to Isabelle, or to comment in particular? We have the time for the last question. Okay, I don't see any.
Sorry.
Okay, Alfredo, go ahead.
Oh, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I have one more question.
Okay, you go first. Okay, quick, short question, please, a short answer, because we are in closing.
Okay, very short question. So right now with sustainability in fashion, what challenge do you face when you're evaluating for like alternative materials? Like what is like maybe one challenge that you face? Thank you.
As stop the dependence of plastic. That's a huge we have to do, because I know that there's a lot of discussion on the carbon impact of polyester, etc. But the planet is burning, and we have to reduce our dependence of fossil industry with the fuel. So we have to, the fashion industry has really to find a solution to find alternative raw materials to reduce its dependence with plastic. For me, it's not a correct political position, but it's my position.
It's a very clear position, and we can share totally with you, Isabelle. And Alfredo, you have the last question.
Yes, last question is just more to know which are, in your opinion, the region or state or area that are more sensitive to this problem. Let's say you have a wider range of brands and maison coming from France, from Italy, from Spain, Germany. So
I think for different reasons, for the legislator in Europe, for example, you have this problem. So, for example, in Italy, in France, but also in Copenhagen, in Germany, they are working a lot because Commission, the European Commission had a lot of pressure. But as you know, there are the omnibus laws. There are some is going like this, but Europe is going very fast. But also you have in China a lot of progress. Complicated because there's this commercial war between China and United States, and it's complicated a lot the different, for example, the access to the data. They just published two new laws that will make very complicated to access to the data of the supplier and the Scope 3. So very complicated, but they want to accelerate, really, they want to become the leader of sustainable fashion in the next few years. So particularly with the recyclability, and they will work a lot on this. And United States, actually, it's complicated because there's a Trump administration, but in the same time, in New York and in others, private company, they are doing a lot. So, and you have some initiative in Africa, for example, in Cotonou, but also in Lagos, very interesting. So there's a lot of initiative and a lot of good ideas everywhere. The idea is really to how we can share these best practices to accelerate, not remake good practices, but share them to accelerate. And I will say, okay, France, Italy, we are working a lot together, and it's very good. But we have to be very modest and have the humility to look at what the others are doing also.
Yes, and even here another important point that they needed to work always in the networking, because in the fashion sector, but not only the fashion sector, in all sector, we see a lot of very interesting, good experience around the world. At the same time, there is difficulty to give value to this experience. So, and the idea to create the coalition, the fashion coalition that you mentioned before is fundamental. So we already used our 30 minutes of conversation. So before to thank you, I want to remind everybody that this is the July Ticone. Thank you, Isabelle, for the flexibility, because there was some issue that we are able to fix in any case to recover the Ticone in July. The Ticone of August will be the 27th of August, will be with Valentino Piana, and we will discuss together on the guideline of UNECE on the electrical mobility. So I think is another important topic that will be very interesting to discuss together. And let me say that we hope to have you again the next Padua Climate Action Week, Isabelle, because you mentioned 32,000 participants to your survey, Italian participants. and we are very interested, we are very curious to understand more in details these results and to share with you and to continue this conversation in next year in April. So thank you everybody, enjoy your summer, thank you for Lorenzo as usual for the organization of Tea Corner, and see you at the end of August.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you
Very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye everyone.